Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Joe here with Deranged. So in today's video, we're going to have a discussion about what is wrong with your UTV. So what UTV, you ask? The answer is any UTV. So one thing we've recognized through this journey on YouTube is that the manufacturers are listening to what you, the consumers, are saying. Whether it's through our videos, other people's videos, surveys that they send out, and maybe give you $1 to do, or questionnaires that they have, phone calls that they make. Our manufacturers, or the manufacturers that make side-by-sides that we all own, they're listening to what you're saying. So in today's video, we want to have a discussion about what is wrong with each one of your UTVs. So how are we going to do that? Much of that conversation is going to take place in the comments down below. I will get us started by chatting about each one of the manufacturers and giving you a couple things that I think that they could change or work on or do better. Obviously, all these manufacturers are doing great things and getting better and kind of, trying to one-up each other and everything else. Well, let's take this opportunity to let them know in the comments down below what you want to see with your UTV. What is wrong with it? How can they fix it? What would you like to see going forward with your model of side-by-side? Okay, I'll go ahead and get us started with the biggest brand in the industry, and that is Polaris. Before I jump in though, remember, let Polaris know what your thoughts are and what they could do better in the comments down below. Keep in mind, when you're letting them know what you'd like to see better, let's think realistically. Let's think about things they could impact and change. If you're gonna tell Can-Am that they need to fix their supply chain issues, that's not going to be a very useful piece of information for them to see. They are where they are with their supply chain. I'm sure they are trying to get things done as quick as they possibly can. Polaris is doing the same thing. Obviously, most of us have seen the notification that went out about ride command or units with ride commands and the Pro R and everything else. So let's leave supply chain aside and let's have a discussion on each one of these machines about what they can do better. So let's get started with Polaris. So like I said, Polaris has probably the biggest lineup in the industry. Can-Am might have more individual models, but Polaris for sure sells more than any other brand out there. From Razor and Ranger to the General to everything in between, they have a well-rounded lineup, and they probably have a machine that is the right fit for anyone out there. While other manufacturers have challenged them along the way, it's really Polaris that has kind of taken us or gotten us to the point where they're fighting back and forth to see who's better. With the Polaris Razor S probably being the first one that kind of took that UTV, the non-sport side-by-side, and really came out with a direct from the manufacturer sporty machine. From there, everything is kind of taken off with Can-Am jumping in and doing sporty Commanders, and the Yamaha coming out with the YXZ and everything in between. It really kind of started with Polaris. So what is my complaint with Polaris? What do I think that they could do better? For me, it is still, this far down the line, fit and finish. So fit and finish could have a pretty broad meaning. To me, it basically means how well does everything fit together? How does it look in the end? Are there squeaks? Are there rattles? Does the machine have a real solid feel when it's done? So that's the biggest thing for me for fit and finish. It's pretty broad, so I'll give you an example of what I mean by fit and finish. We have a Polaris Razor Pro Ultimate. We have the Polaris Razor doors from the OEM doors that come with it, right? And it is a pain in the butt to get them adjusted properly. We finally have them somewhere in the ballpark of close, and those doors still rub on the bottom of our wrap, right where the door meets the wrap. And it's a pain. It's a pain in the butt. So they could definitely do a better job of giving a better fit and finish to the doors, and I'm sure there's plenty of other examples as well. So why don't you let us know what your thoughts in the comments below are on Polaris's fit and finish. Another example of fit and finish, and it's kind of more final assembly than anything else, and that is clutch alignment. I see or hear about way too many cases of clutches being out of alignment from Polaris straight from the factory, mainly on Razor machines. So what are the caution signs or whatever of a clutch that is out of alignment? Blowing belts right from the factory. Get a brand new machine, put 100 miles on it, 200 miles on it, and you're blowing belts. That is generally, not always, but generally a cause or a sign that that you have a misaligned clutch and you need to have some work done there. So that's another thing for Polaris. Again, let us know in the comments down below. What do you think Polaris could do better? Is there a machine model that they're missing? Did they knock it out with the park with the Pro R and all problems are solved? Let us know in the comments below. Okay, next let's talk about Can-Am. So Can-Am has really taken it to the next level the last 5 to 7 years in the UTV market. They've been in it for a long time with the Commander and with other rigs, but they really have taken it up to the next level and started to push Polaris to come up with new models, come up with new ideas, and really push them to take it to the next level. I forget what their CEO said a little while back, but it was something like they were going to do a new model every 6 months, and that was for like 3 to 5 years or something like that straight. And they really did. They came out with the X3 and the Commander, well, the new versions of the Commander, the new versions of the Defender, the multiple models of the X3, the multiple models of the Maverick and Maverick Sport. So they really did come out with a ton of new models to really push Polaris and compete with them, and I feel like they have. You see a ton of Can-Ams on the trail nowadays. So for me, where Can-Am needs to take it to the next level and really put some focus and attention is on durability, specifically with the X3 models. So the X3 models don't necessarily have issues with drivetrains as far as what I've seen in the past anyway, but they do have issues with the durability of the frame and suspension and mounting and that kind of stuff. So they did take some steps in the last, I think, model year of the X3s, and they added dual shear gussets rather than, or dual shear mounting points instead of single shear mounting points. So that really helps out with you know, some of the suspension components. But you still hear stories about people needing gusset kits still in order to make sure their suspension is strong enough in the front end and whatnot. So I really think the next thing that the Can-Am can do is put some additional focus on the durability of their machines, to continue to push their competition and take it to the next level. They obviously have the power thing figured out, right? When they came out with the 195 horsepower machine, it really kind of pushed Polaris to do what they did with the Pro R and with the Turbo R and everything else. So they have the power game down tight. For me, it's time for Can-Am to focus on something other than power. Okay, next I want to talk about Yamaha. So Yamaha's made a ton of strides actually in the last few years with the release of the R-Max, kind of a completely new model, both a 2- and 4-seater, which really is a great machine. And also with the YXZ, they've made some changes to that to make it a little bit more versatile. Also some cool changes to the Wolverine and other models in their lineup. So they really have done a good job the last few years of progressing and just getting better. They also have some very reliable machines. You don't see a ton of Yamahas broken down on the side of the trail, which is awesome. I know a lot of people, that's top of their list, important is reliability. So, and Yamaha's done a great job of building reliable machines. They have forever, and they continue to do so. They also, in my opinion, have the best fit and finish in the industry. So if you jump into an R-Max or you jump into a YXZ, it is automotive grade, high-end fit and finish, just every time. So they definitely are the leaders of the pack as far as that goes. Now, message to Yamaha. This is from me to you, Yamaha. Hopefully others will chime in the comments down below as well. But for me, it is time. I hope it's okay saying this. I hope I don't offend too many people out there. It is time for a complete and total remodel and redesign of the YXZ. Now, don't get offended, everybody. Nobody come and try to find my house and hunt me down or anything else.
I must break you.
The YXZ is a fantastic machine. It's been a great machine for a long time. It's a little stale. It's a sporty machine, which is awesome, right? We want a sport machine, especially when we get in the dunes and everything. But it's not super versatile. It never has been. And Yamaha's have made some changes over the years to make it a little bit more versatile. It's still not in the same class, suspension-wise, capability-wise, anything else as a Razor or an X3. So for me, it's time for Yamaha to do a complete redesign for the YXZ. The redesign needs to start with a redesigned suspension, right? Let's have some additional travel so we're able to handle whoops and other stuff better and have a smoother ride. And then also it's time for a 4-seater. The world is ready for a Yamaha 4-seat sport, pure sport machine. If you agree, let us know in the comments down below. Okay, next let's talk about Honda. I just happen to be sitting next to our Talon right here. which is a great machine. Honda has made a ton of strides as they've jumped into the sport-ish side-by-side market. They've had the Pioneer around for a while, and it's a great rig. People love it. The DCT is an awesome innovation that I feel like the UTV market needs. And then with the Honda Talon, they brought out the live valve suspension, which was already around, but then it started to push the other manufacturers to see that that was needed and wanted. So you started to see live valve or something like it on Can-Ams, started to see it on Yamaha, and it's also on the Kawasaki KRX as well. So Honda, when they came out with that Talon, they really pushed others to jump in and do similar things, which is pretty cool. So a couple things for Honda specifically on the Talon. Number one, fit and finish on the Talon is not impressive. The doors are rattly. They start to rattle within a week or two. You can adjust the adjusters all you want. They're still going to rattle like crazy. You can slam them all you want. They're still going to rattle. If you change your bushings, it will help, but we should have good bushings coming from the manufacturer. Also, with the Talon, you can see the road through the middle of your floor while you're driving. That doesn't help for dusty roads in Arizona or anywhere else in the deserts. So Honda, you could do a better job with fit and finish, especially in the Talon. Also for the Talon, especially the four-seater, it is time as well for that four-seat R. The four-seat Talon R, it's time, we need it. We need the additional suspension travel. We need that live valve on the additional suspension travel. We need a four-seat R. And if you want to throw the Jackson Turbo or any other turbo on from the start, we'd love the power as well. So if you agree, if you're a Talon fan, let us know in the comments below. If you own a Talon, let Honda know what you think they could do better with the Talon. Or if the Talon doesn't fit your mold of what you want, let them know what they can do in the comments down below. All right, last we'll finish up with Kawasaki. And yes, I know there are other manufacturers out there, CF Moto, John Deere, all the other ones. There are some other manufacturers out there. They just don't play at the same level as Yamaha, Honda, Can-Am, Polaris, Kawasaki. So we'll finish up with Kawasaki. Now it's pretty easy to see that the KRX has been a smash hit for Kawasaki. You see them all over the trails. They've really become a very, very popular machine. Of course, they lack some power that other machines have, but what they lack in power, they make up for in suspension and suspension performance. The KRX can actually carry speed as good or better than any other side-by-side on the market. So it does lack some power, yes, but it can gain speed, and when it gets to speed, it can hold that speed as good or better than anybody else just because of the suspension design. And the same is true for how it handles the rocks. So when you're done with all that speed, if you want to hit some rock trails in Moab, Sand Hollow, wherever else, then you have the ability to rock crawl as good or better than any other machine out there as well. The KRX just plain slay it in the rocks. There's a reason that every rental company in Moab has switched to the KRX, and it's not because Kawasaki gave them a good deal. In addition to that, while there have been some hiccups, I guess you'd say, along the way for the KRX as far as reliability goes, a few issues with knuckles here and there, and then the clutch weights wearing too quickly, stuff like that, they have proven to be already a reliable machine. So what can Kawasaki do better? There are a couple things out there. Number one is they can do better on fit and finish than they have. When I say fit and finish, I'm talking about things like sealing up the cab better for dust, making sure that dust doesn't make it into the cab, through the floorboards, through the gear shift holes, stuff like that. That's one way. Another way is the doors. So if you've ridden in a KRX and you put your arm on the door like this, you know the door seam up there can sometimes be sharp and gnarly on your arm. So they can definitely tighten up those screws. Next, I'm sure they've heard this, and I'm sure you know this. We've said it before as well. The KRX could handle more power. Does it have sufficient power? Yeah, the power's sufficient. Could it use more power? Absolutely. Could it handle more power? Absolutely. Like I said earlier, it carries speed like nothing else. If you want to race in a KRX, I feel like they could really dominate some races, especially these high-speed desert ones that happen out here, best in the desert, stuff like that. They could really get after it if they were to put 150, 160 horsepower into one of these KRX machines. And also, another thing that they know, you know, I know, we all know, it's time for a four-seat KRX as well. What that looks like, who knows? There's been renderings from the day it was born, basically, of what a four-seat looks like. It is time for a four-seat KRX as well. With as heavy as it is, I'm sure a 4-seat will not come until we have some sort of change in the power plant for the KRX. And when I say I'm sure, I mean that's my opinion. Kawasaki, feel free to correct me in the comments down below and let us know that a turbo is coming out shortly, or that the 4-seat that is coming out shortly will the 104 horsepower, whatever it is from the KRX, will be plenty of power for a 4-seat. If that's the truth, Kawasaki, let us know in the comments down below. Okay guys, so like I said in the beginning, the purpose of this video is for us to have a conversation with each other about what each one of these manufacturers could do better. And let's have that in the comments down below. And maybe, just maybe, they will see your comment and they will take actions based on your comments. Again, they're not going to fix their supply chain tomorrow because Sam out in West Virginia says, guys, fix your supply chain so I can get my X3. Doesn't work like that. But if you say things like, hey, you could do a better job with fit and finish, and enough people say that, then maybe their marketing team, maybe their research and development team will see those comments, and then they will look into doing better in those areas. So let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Let's have a conversation. Garrett, Dave, and myself will be super interactive over the next few days with the comments down below and sharing our thoughts and opinions. Feel free to tag the manufacturers in the comments as well. I think some follow us, some don't. I think if they are following us, you can tag them and let them know. But feel free to tag the manufacturers as well and say, hey, this is my opinion on your rig. Help us out, do better next time. So anyways, guys, that's it for this video. We really appreciate you watching. Don't forget to click the links down below, specifically the Rocky Mountain ATV link. That's our affiliate link. We're connected with them. We basically have a program where if you click the link, we'll get a kickback and it doesn't cost you anything more. So it's it definitely help out the channel, help us grow obviously, and help us do things like, you know, fix up the talent and review accessories and stuff like that, which we love to do. We love to do that for you guys. We're having a lot of fun doing it. So that's it, guys. Ride safe, pack out what you pack in, and we'll see you on the next one. Not too bad for a complete and total amateur. Garrett, that was me. Just giving me a little crap there, bud.